Hello, my dear friends, welcome on board to the final section of my road to essentially to nowhere, to the top of Sierra Nevada, Caleviso, Las Candillas will be the next I don't know if you knew how the word taverna, how did it emerge as a word. There was a family, actually a guy with the family name La Taverna, living in Havana, Cuba, a century ago, or actually a little bit more than a century ago. And he decided to open something which he called a bar, and to offer also some food in this bar. And the people liked this concept, and given the fact that his bar was named La Taverna, people believe that this is actually the name for this type of, let's say, facilities. And then they started, actually created this generic name, Taverna. Interesting story, huh? I don't know, maybe it's not, this is the story that I've heard when I was in Cuba, Havana, and I actually even visited the place. Maybe it's a myth, maybe not, I don't know. I mean, if you search Google, it will provide also another explanation, that it comes from the Latin word tavern, or not tavern, but something, which is actually the word for tent. I don't know. It doesn't look like a tent to me. But if the Google says so, maybe. I'm not very convinced. So I prefer to stick to the theory that I've heard when I was in Havana, Cuba. Cuba Libre. Cuba Libre siempre. When I was in Cuba, I also visited some other places. Okay, of course, Varadero was there for the majority of our stay, but we also visited Villares, Cienfuegos, Santa Clara, and Trinidad. And then my girlfriend back then, actually she was back then just started being my wife, my ex-wife, ex-wife, and me and one more family, actually a couple, decided to rent a car and go to the other side of the island to visit the Playa Largo and the Bay of Pigs. I don't know what is the Spanish name for the Bay of Pigs. I cannot remember right now. But we wanted to see how the Americans wanted to stop La Revolución. However, unsuccessfully. Presidente Che Guevara. Probably the only person in the history that he's being celebrated as the major hero of one country, although he was not from that country. He was Argentinian. He fought many revolutionary battles in various countries. Also in some African countries, Cuba of course, and then he died when he tried to initiate a revolution in Bolivia. And the story says that it was a Serbian military officer that killed him. I mean, arrested him and killed him. From the old Yugoslavia, practically, a military officer that went to Latin America for various reasons. Actually, for one reason only. He escaped the communists in Yugoslavia, Tito's communists. Okay, this will be tough, but not as tough as the center of Granada. 1.5 kilometers more. We are there. We are almost there. There is actually another example of a person who is being celebrated in one country, not as much as he deserves so. Archibald Rice from Switzerland, who is being celebrated in Serbia for his tributes, especially during the First World War. His desire was to be buried, burned and then buried, cremated and then buried in the chapel at the top of Kaymakchalan mountain. Today's Greece, actually the border between Greece and North Macedonia. The chapel devoted to Serbian heroes that decided the destiny of the First World War. Only 60,000 of them. The remainings of the Serbian army after the big retreat, the Albanian Golgotha. That's the village, that's the destination, Pampaneira. You see the road is wet here. As I told you, it was raining last night, and the areas that are not exposed to the sunshine are still being wet. Soon we'll be reaching the center of the village, Centro de Ville, Bonitos de España, Bonitos de España. So there is a big parking. Shall I? Yes, I guess, yes. Otherwise, I don't know. Well, parking is quite full. Free public parking. Aparcamiento municipal gratitudo. Gratitudo. That much I managed to understand in Spanish. Hablo un poco español. Un poco en español. Okay, my friends, that much for now. Thanks for watching. Bear with me.